You are listening to an original message from the reader currently known as Jason Ashanti McDaniel of Madam Jason's Tarot. Dear spirit guides of the highest benevolence, only those that are able to help out with the reading, please help out. And when you're done, you're not earthbound. You can go back to what source appoints you to do. Please give the most clear, concise, synchronistic, and accurate message for the Taurus members and my tribe. Just give me an update and also future forecast for what's going to happen for them during this Fire Horse year. Please bless those that bless me and curse those that curse me. To anybody sending me or my tribe negative energy, may that energy be returned to sender 3 times fold immediately. Amen, Ashe, and thank you very much. Hello, Taurus. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm up very early because, for those of you who didn't know, I'm caretaking or caregiving to my grandmother right now, the one that's still alive, my mom's mom. So I don't really have a lot of time to myself. I just woke up. I had a really good rest, even though I didn't really rest that long. So I just want to go ahead and get straight into your reading. As you can see, I changed my prayer. I deleted my old videos because I'm going through a rebirth right now. And as I was deleting my old videos, I saw how much I've grown out of like not feeling good enough, not attracting as much as I attract now, holding resentment towards people. So it's like I've grown. It's not like I was immature before, but I've matured and I've also grown a lot spiritually. And it's crazy how that happens to you. And you're like, you feel like a completely different person. But what I'm doing now is every Monday, I'm doing these 15-minute flip, don't trip videos. There's a new segment on my channel, which is basically for people who like to do tarot a lot, who do their own personals, but they don't want to overdo it with the tarot. It's supposed to be like a 4-ish card spread that lets people know like how good they're doing on their spiritual journey or what they need to know. And then the 30-minute videos are really whatever I want them to be about. I've been gone for 6 months, so I decided to like catch up on the Fire Horse energy for the 30-minute videos. And then for the 60-minute videos, that's when I do the horoscopes now. So I'm keeping my channel very, very simple. I changed my about page bio too. So it's really just going to be those 3 things, shorts, and then like merchandise updates. Keeping it very organized, very simple. And also trying to post the same content on different social media platforms too to get more exposure. And the reason why I'm doing 15, 30, 60 is because those are my prices for the readings. So this helps me practice to stay in those time limits, but also when I do open back up for personals, people can see like how much they can get out of those time slots. So as you can see at the bottom of Sacred Symbols and Oracles, we have guides here. We have Divine Feminine, New Moon, Meditate. That Meditate card could also represent ethical debates, open-mindedness. So usually when that card comes out, it could mean peace or it could mean that you're about to argue with someone. And then we also have Shadow, which means with Divine Feminine and New Moon here, on a positive note, it could mean that you're integrating some sort of shadow. If you're a Divine Feminine, I'm just going to take a wild guess that one thing that you're integrating is your beliefs around sexuality. This is something that all spiritual people have to integrate at some point. And usually for Divine Feminines, we live in a patriarchal world, so we're not allowed to express our sexualities or even grow up with positive ideas around them in our sacral chakras. So that's something that we usually have to heal ourselves. But you could also be a Divine Masculine watching this, and this is talking about a Divine Feminine that you know. It could be your girl, your wife. I'm just going to go out and say it because I do videos that are going to be geared to a whole huge group of people is what I'm manifesting. Okay? Some people watching this are going to be cisgender and hetero. I am picking up on queer energy because usually when I talk about healing the sacral chakra, especially for women, society treats queer women different than straight women. So that's not going to be for everybody, but somebody watching this or somebody who this reading is talking about might relate to that. What else was I going to say about that? I'll think of it. It'll come back to me, I think. Yep. And I knew, see, this is why when spirit tells you something, you have to listen, because I foresaw the LGBT plus card coming out, and it came out. So that lets me know that I was channeling correctly. I wasn't just saying stuff just because it's my representation. Because sometimes even when you're highly intuitive, you can doubt yourself. But for physical features, at the bottom of the deck, we have straight hair. We have age range 46 to 57. Someone who likes to exercise could be significant too. We have moles. We have LGBT plus. You don't have to say all the letters on the acronym. I just tell people say LGBT plus. Age range 18 to 26. I feel like someone comes from somewhere sunny like California, Arizona, Florida. Native American. This can pop up in any way. You could consider yourself to be like North American, Native American. You could be Mexican, Aztec, South American, Central American. Even this to me also represents Afro-Latino people or Afro-Latin people, Latin people. It's also like big Creole representation too, because if you are Creole like me, like my whole life people have told me that I look Native American or I have good hair or whatever like that. Turns out I'm not even that Native American. But when I see that card, you could also be Creole too. We have thick thighs, and then we also have pale skin tone. So now I remember what I was going to say earlier with the gender non-conforming stuff. So in tarot, we have things like King of Cups, Queen of Cups, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. Those are just polarizing energies that are in everybody's culture that show us like the difference of how things connect. But there are so many readers that try to convince you that only cisgendered hetero people can have twin flames. And that is absurd to me. Because one, it's crazy how the tarot community is so woo-woo and so woke, but there's so much queer phobia in it. And also, people romanticize the hell out of twin flame relationships, make it sound like it's such a dramatic thing. When you're in a twin flame relationship, sometimes it feels like the whole world is trying to stop you from being being with your person. Straight cisgender tarot readers say things all the time like there's no gender in tarot. He could be a she could be a he. Everybody has masculine and feminine. Twin flames are a soul connection. But if you really believed all that stuff, why does it matter what people have between their legs if it's a soul connection? So divine feminine energy, it could be talking about someone who identifies as divine feminine, or maybe this is what you're attracted to, or just the energy of femininity, being able to receive and attract in general. So when people talk about gender and tarot, please, please, please be as open-minded as you can be. Because when you think too literally with that, you kind of limit your ability to understand things from different realms. And also, don't you think that a group of people who fight to have their marriage legalized understand twin flame struggles more than people who don't? It's just something to think about. So I don't have that AI drama situations deck anymore. I'm trying to stay away from the AI artwork. So I'm just going to go straight into the tiles, and then we're going to go into the tarot and see what else we can do. But you might see people's first, middle, last name, nicknames. Sometimes you see like spirit guide names in here, angel names, little quirky things that'll let you know that this is your reading, inside jokes that you have with the universe, synchronicities. Sometimes the pets that you have, your job, or what you just ate recently could come out in the tiles as well. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it does help some people, and I do enjoy scrying in tiles. So let's see what I can get from here. Okay, someone's name could be Allie, Allison, Alex. Someone could be Mexican, I'm hearing. Okay, again, just like with Aries, I see kids in the tiles. So when I do horoscopes, obviously there are 12 signs that run into each other. So let's say you're Aries, Taurus, Cusper. You might find messages in this reading for you and also messages in the Aries reading, if that applies. Or maybe Aries is in your big three or somewhere in your chart. I do see lust, and I do feel like something about not just any relationship, but a soul tie might be significant. Twin. Okay, flame isn't in here. Soulmate isn't in here either, but I do feel like it is a soul tie situation. Okay, buff is getting my attention. I was channeling that word even as I was stacking the tiles. I do feel like someone who takes their health seriously is significant. For all I know, you could even be in the gym while you're listening to this or watching this. I see absurd. I'm not sure why that is sticking out to me. Maybe something about someone accusing you or you just being different than people around you. It's not uncommon for chosen ones or like star seeds, empaths, people who are set apart to be like that, light workers. I do feel like you might be being bullied, especially if you're in school or at work, because I see nerd in here too. So there's something about you being eccentric and different and intelligent. You might have Aquarius somewhere in your chart. And like I said, I see AZ, so someone could be from Arizona. I know there are a lot of Native American people out there. Someone could work at Tilly's, work at a mall in general, or like to dress like a skater or something like that. I'm sure there's more in there, but I don't want to spend too much time there. So kids is in the tiles, and I also see wife. I wouldn't be surprised if the Empress came out because that is Taurus energy and it's divine feminine energy. Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is what the Empress card represents. I'm also seeing ego in the tiles too. Ego and ID. So I definitely feel like someone's shadow was triggered. And what I'm picturing here a lot in my third eye is a husband and wife arguing. And it's a black couple. But like I said, this is going to be for a huge group of people. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Got to get a sip of my matcha. Right now we have Four of Swords here at the bottom of the deck in the reverse, Libra energy. We have Sag, Libra, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Gemini. The Temperance card in the upright. We have Two of Swords upright. Ace of Pentacles reversed. And Nine of Swords reversed. So being that Nine of Swords is reversed here, and then Four of Swords is reversed at the bottom of the deck, swords represent intellect, what's going on in your crown chakra, thoughts. I feel like something was stressing you out, and you decided not to stress about it. I love the fact that Temperance came up in the upright because I was kind of worried, to be honest. I felt the energy of someone being triggered and upset, but I do feel like if this is already happening or if it's going to happen, you're going to handle it in a very peaceful way. And, you know, sometimes shadow energy isn't always bad. So we have to learn to integrate our shadows. So it's kind of like you learning to balance the opposite sides of yourself. But I feel something about a marriage very strongly with this connection too. This could be a person who you're already married to, or maybe this is someone who you're meant to be with. And I know everybody has free will, and some people, they have different beliefs around messages like that, but that's just how I feel, because I feel like it's a soul tie relationship. Wife and kids is here. We have divine feminine. Because when you're in a relationship, especially if you're committed to like marriage level, you have to learn to temper yourself. And it's not about biting your tongue or submitting to the point to where you can't be yourself, but it's about finding that happy medium. You know, in the Temperance card, and I think the Star card does this too, there's 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out of the water. So that again is just like imagery that represents being authentic with yourself, but also learning to be cordial with other people and balance of opposites. So Two of Swords, that's actually a good one to see in the upright too, because this is a good energy for when you're arguing with people or when you want to come to a resolution about something. Two of Swords represents being unbiased and making a balanced decision. I like that. So whatever this is that you and this person were disagreeing about, it was something big, I think. And then we have Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm hearing that for someone, them and their spouse were talking about whether or not they should have another kid. And with this, I feel like someone wants to get their money up, or someone saying now is not a good time. You might have, especially if you're a divine feminine and you're like a divine feminine that's able to have kids, I think you were a little bit jaded, but I think that eventually, for whoever's energy I'm picking up on, you decided to trust your husband. And then with Nine of Swords in the reverse, it's like, I feel like someone was really heated or fed up about something, and they were just like, you know what, it's really not worth like jeopardizing this relationship, or it's really not something for me to get mad about because, you know, we always have time. Temperance can represent divine timing too. So let's clarify this Temperance card. Why is that out here? Queen of Pentacles upright came out with no hesitation whatsoever. It's Capricorn energy, but it's just earth sign energy in general. We have the Magician in the reverse. Yeah. Something about wanting to have more money. Maybe someone wanted to move too, and your husband could say, it's not time. And I recently watched Stepford Wives on Tubi, and if you ever seen that movie, it was like the 70s version. I don't know if they have more than one movie of that because it's a classic. There's like this one scene where the main character, who was a female, wanted to move because all this weird stuff is happening in the neighborhood, and her husband was having a hard time believing her because, you know, it's metaphysical stuff going on. It's like a thriller. But I'm not going to spoil it, but he was just like, I don't see what you're talking about. Now is not a good time. So I thought that scene was interesting because, of course, it was that classic thriller horror movie thing of when people don't believe the protag. But at the same time, it's like you see, even though Stepford Wives is about women who are too submissive to their husband, it's like I enjoyed seeing that dynamic of both of them being cordial with each other and coming to like a happy medium, even if the wife didn't want to do that. I also recently watched Amityville Horror. So yeah, I feel like somebody's trying to get out their neighborhood. That's confirmation, because both of those movies kind of had like similar scenes that I'm thinking about. And then in Amityville Horror, I think that the protag was also trying to move out of that house because strange metaphysical things were happening, but her husband had a hard time believing her in the beginning. Also, because this is a tarot reading and shadow is here, I don't know if somebody wants to move because they feel like their house needs to be cleansed. And obviously you can cleanse your house anytime, but sometimes like the energy is so bad that you might want to go. I'm looking at this Native American card again, so it might be in your culture, like you take things like that very seriously. Sage and Palo Santo come from Native American culture, so you could be a huge enthusiast when it comes to that. But with this Magician in the reverse, underneath Queen of Pentacles upright, it's like something that you were trying to do revolving money or resources, because I'm channeling wife energy. So you were probably the head, or you're the head of your household, and you wanted to make this executive decision as the matriarch, but I'm getting that you're married. So the Magician is in the reverse because what you're trying to manifest, it's not really the right time for that. And so you had to comply because of that. Not just with your husband, but also with the divine. Okay, let me see. Two of Swords. And also the Magician reverse could be an omen that you feel like there's some spiritual negative stuff going on in your household. Okay, Two of Swords is clarified by Five of Wands reverse and the Knight of Swords reverse. This is basically just the same thing that I've been saying. You didn't want to argue with someone, so you complied. Knight of Swords in the reverse. Knight of Swords is a very eager, fast-moving energy, so maybe you were just told to slow down. This Two of Swords is really, I feel like, someone's husband, but also their spirit guides blocking them. I feel like someone could have been looking for a house or an apartment, somewhere to stay, and they kept getting rejected because it's not time for it yet. Okay, Ace of Pentacles reverse. Ten of Swords came out crossing, but I'm just going to pick it upright because that's how I feel guided to look at it. Yeah, there's a painful ending, or like at the very least, Ten of Swords could represent being deeply wounded, being hurt about something. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of you, you probably are trying to manifest a new job or a new career too, and you're in a position where you can't leave your current job. So I feel like there's a matriarch, divine feminine, somebody's wife that is really trying to hold it together, because I don't feel like they like the current state of where they are right now when it comes to their resources and their goals. So if you're the masculine watching this, please help her out, because she needs that support. Ace of Cups in the reverse and Ace of Wands upright. Ace of Cups reverse, Ace of Wands upright. You know, this went into a whole nother territory, and I don't want to be that person, that says stuff that steps on people's toes. But let me just get clarification. Okay, now we have Knight of Cups in the reverse. Let me just get some more cards to finish this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Please don't get mad at me, because this is not for everybody. Once again, this is a collective reading. This is not going to be for everybody. But look at this lineup that just came out. We have Ace of Cups in the reverse, Ace of Wands upright, Knight of Cups in the reverse. This is kind of like the same thing as Ace of Cups reverse. And then we have Four of Cups reverse and the Hierophant. That energy that I was picking up earlier about the sacral chakra and sexuality, somebody's wife or girlfriend, even if this is going to step on like masculine toes mostly, even if you feel like the sex is good, and even if she tells you that, there's an emotional aspect that's being missed here. With the Hierophant, I feel like someone feels like because they're committed to you, they have to submit to you, but it goes both ways. Because with 3 cup cards in the reverse, back to back just now, that lets me know that there is emotional fulfillment that is lacking. And some of you, granted masculines, you are dealing with emotionally unavailable feminines, or feminines that keep quiet about their true emotions. So that's shadow work that she has to work on. And because Ace of Wands and the Hierophant are upright, I'm not trying to roast anybody. I do believe that this is a situation where two people love each other very much. But there's kind of, and I would say that you are equally yoked, but there's kind of like an imbalance now, because there's a miscommunication of people's love languages and what they want versus what they're expected to want. So I'm just going to move on with that. And the Hierophant does represent Taurus energy. Let's go on to Nine of Swords reverse. And then we have Eight of Swords reverse, Seven of Swords. There's a lot of swords here too. So Eight of Swords reverse is just like Nine of Swords reverse. It's someone wanting to let go of things that are trapping them emotionally, or things that they're thinking too hard about. Seven of Swords could be sneaky energy, but when you look at it in a positive sense, it's someone using their resources and taking everything that they can to accomplish a goal. I feel like that's talking about this divine feminine in her job situation, realizing that she can't leave the job yet, but trying to take everything that she can, all the experience, all the resources that she can from it. And I'm just going to be honest. What I'm picturing here with the Seven of Swords is like a thing where maybe someone's a administrative assistant and they take pins from work, or it could also be someone working, I'm picturing someone working in like a nursing home who steals gloves and takes them home, things like that. And those are shadowy things. I don't condone them, but that's just what the energy is. I mean, if you are a matriarch, let's be real, if you're a matriarch and you're on hard times, I'm sure everybody watching this video at some point did something like that when it came to their job. I do see this devil card here at the bottom of the deck. So a lot of cards in tarot have triangulation. The Lover's card, the Chariot, the Hierophant, the Devil, all of them kind of are formatted the same. And I do feel like, you know, the Hierophant and the Devil, two completely different energies. Sometimes you might feel like you're stuck in your marriage or in your relationship, and sometimes you really honor it. And honestly, that's just the pros and cons of being committed to someone. Doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to be committed to someone. So I'm at 30 minutes, but what I could do is I could speed this video up and try to make it closer to the 30-minute mark, because the tarot kind of occupied most of my time today. I want to use Divine Masters to see what other advice Spirit has for you. There are some twin flame or marriage cards that are in here, so I wonder if those are going to come out. And I also want to use angel numbers for you guys. I'm holding it upside down. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I just want to see if one more is going to come out. Okay. We have Lady Nada, expanded heart, openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved at the bottom. That could just be talking about self-love, being true to yourself, not losing yourself even though you're in a commitment. El Moria, spiritual force field, protective light is surrounding you. You are safe. So when it comes to stability, a lot of times our root chakras feel like they're not balanced, but it's just saying that you're protected, especially if you feel like your neighborhood or your house is not safe. We have Archangel Michael and Faith, spiritual calling, divine protection, breakthrough moment. I really like this card. This is a twin flame card in this deck. Everybody knows Archangel Michael. He's like the John Cena of the angels, very popular spirit guide to call upon. So I would assume that you already have Archangel Michael candles and stuff like that in your house. They sell them at Walmart and the dollar store. They don't cost an arm and a leg. Having intention is not rocket science. All you have to do is pray and, you know, do stuff like that. People don't know about faith that much, though. And there's this book that I have to rebuy that talks about faith. So Archangel Michael is the masculine energy, protective. Archangel Faith holds like the spiritual energy of the connection as far as like the divine aspects. And always remember, twin flames aren't always romantic. Angels don't reproduce, but they can be paired or have counterparts too. And according to Kyle Gray, Michael and Faith are counterparts. And I think that's very interesting, because with Archangel Michael being such a strong masculine presence, you have to have like a feminine aspect of that too. It's kind of like we're told to see God as he, him when you grow up Christian, but in Jewish culture, Shekinah is the feminine aspect of God. God has feminine qualities too. And then we have Horus, manifestation vortex. Belief makes manifest, thoughts attract and create. So that's why there's so many swords out here today, because you have to be careful about the things that you think, because what you think could become a behavior and then it can become your reality. But I don't think you're going to have a problem with that, because everybody has negative thoughts from time to time. I think your shadows are mostly what you're thinking about someone, like, oh, did I marry the right person? Am I dating the right person? Maybe I don't have kids, but I'm sure like a lot of mothers at some point are like, would think about what their life would be like without kids and stuff like that. It's okay to not be happy with where you are right now, but there's this energy of using your intellect to think about, to manifest what you do want to be your reality. But also gratitude is very important for this message too, which I don't think that you're ungrateful, but I feel like with toxic positivity, sometimes there's a lot of pressure to pretend like we like every season, every aspect of our lives, when we really don't. And that's completely okay. Okay, at the bottom of the angel number deck, we have 55 shift. That could also be someone's age. We have 4141 habit. So I'm looking at the 7 of swords. There's like a habit that someone does that might be self-sabotaging, or like I said, if you're taking things from work, or let's say you're lying about unemployment or receiving EBT money or cash when your income is higher than that, but you still feel like you're struggling. That's like 7 of swords energy to me. Putting fake tags on top of the tags that you need to renew, stuff like that. I feel like someone's been doing a lot of that stuff to get by, and I'm not judging at all. You see the skin color, right? I come from a Black household, so I see a lot of that in my immediate family and other family members. Not saying that is the right thing to do, but when the system is corrupt, people have to find creative ways to get by. But we do have 202 perseverance, which is good. I do feel like even though this is a hard message to take in, you are going to overcome it. And we also have 444 protection. Mostly you're protected by Archangel Michael and Faith, because it literally came out in the cards. But that's all that I have for you guys, Taurus, for the fire horse prediction. I'm getting ready to do your hour-long horoscope, so I'll see